I watched the original, got my thoughts, and then I went on and watched the remake. My personal opinion, I like the original much better versus a remake because it seemed more laid back versus a rush of the dialogue or on the characters in the remake. It made it seem a lot just like they've already done it before. Like they're like, okay, I'm ready to give to get it over with. So that's how I viewed the two. The original was more laid back, and the remake was more rushed, even though it was the same dialogue, same characters. It seemed that their attitudes and their expressions were much different in the two. The similarities that I did find between the two, original and remake, I found from the two of them was number one, Sherlock opening the body bag. It did this in both of the clips, the original and the remake, so that was one way of showing a similarity. The characters, actors, were the same. They didn't change that, which is good because you don't want to change up something, especially with a great idea, especially with the storyline that they were going for. I think that was a similarity. Number three, the script was set up the same. I think maybe only a few words were maybe different. I could be wrong, but I think that was mostly the same was the script. And number four, only the location that was the same in both clips was the morgue. Every other location was different. The morgue was the only thing that stood out to me that was the same location. Or one particular spot that Sherlock was in. Okay, moving on to differences between the two. I found number one, the locations did change, like I just mentioned with the similarities. The other locations change from like the beginning of the original where they're in the street. They move from the street to the restaurant and they're talking. They move from the restaurant to the morgue, to the morgue, to the computer room. And then you have your remake where they're in the park. They stay in the park while they're talking. Then they move from the park to the morgue, to the morgue, to the computer lab, I guess, which is same place but just upstairs. Just a different area. And then it shoots back to a Ferris wheel or some sort outside, which is way different because the beginning of the original one did not have that. I did think that those were the very two. And then I have the wardrobe was different. There was more color added in the remake. It was more up to date. Like today's times, like colors were more brighter. Not really brighter. They were more maybe darker than the original. The original was more laid back, casual whites and grays and blacks. The actors' expressions were different between the two. They were more, the second one, Molly was more, I guess, flirtatious than she was in the first one. She was kind of like set back and drawn back from him, from Sherlock. Sherlock's expressions were more serious in the second one, I believe. I would say that he was more get straight to the point than he was in the beginning of the original one. And then number four, the camera angles were different. When a character was zoomed in on closer, it would seem like the second one was more personal than it was in the original, which was more open, which they had some personal shots too, but I believe that they had more of a distance between them in the beginning than they did in the remake, where they were more up close and personal with them. And that's all I got. So I hope that it was good enough, and I will be showing my slides as well. Thank you.